an American veteran unexpectedly discovered he had a son in Vietnam after 45 years. In 2015, Bob Norr from Huntsville, Alabama, USA, took a DNA test to learn about his ancestral origins. However, the results he received went beyond his expectations. A notification appeared. "We have found a very high probability of a father-son relationship between you and son Bjorn." Bob was stunned, showed it to his wife, and then went online himself to search for traces of the person believed to be his son. Through this, he learned that son had been born not long after he left Vietnam. Digging into his memories, he vaguely recalled that in 1970, while serving in Vietnam, he had known a Vietnamese woman, then left without knowing she was pregnant with his child. Currently, Bob is living with his second wife. He also has 6 children, 4 from his first wife, and 2 stepchildren from his current wife. For him, Vietnam was just a collection of sad memories with nothing to hold on to. The sudden discovery of this truth left him deeply shaken. He wondered whether he should reach out to son first. He worried that his son might not want to acknowledge him, so he decided to wait. 2 weeks later, son actually took the initiative to contact him. Bob was overwhelmed with surprise and emotion. It turned out his son had been searching for him for over a year. A son looking for his father after 45 years on American soil. Son came to America at age 4 with his younger sister and his mother, Vo Thi Nguyet Van. It was 1975. The 3 of them were fortunate to be on one of the last hurried flights leaving Vietnam. In his memory, April 22nd of that year was a day he could never forget. Son recounted that, at the airport, the crowd shouted and reached out, calling to the soldiers. They pulled at the fences, cried, and begged to get past the checkpoint. When they were about to reach the checkpoint, my mother stopped, knelt down, looked at me and my sister, and said, "No matter what happens, don't let go of my hand. Understand?" After passing the checkpoint, son and his mother and sister prepared for their journey to the United States. But after 4 years in America, son's mother passed away, and much of his childhood was spent in an orphanage. With his mother gone and no father, son always wondered why he only had a mother. Where was his father? As an adult, he became a musician in Los Angeles and got married. He always tried to forget his origins, but his wife was the one who convinced him to trace his roots through a DNA test. After submitting his sample, he waited in vain for over a year and a half with no results. He thought the search was too vague and gave up. For a month after that, he stopped checking messages on the website. But one time, by chance, something prompted son to check the results again, and he discovered a notification that a DNA match had been found. He shared emotionally, "To me, this was nothing short of a miracle. I didn't even dare dream of this." However, there were moments when son found it all too hard to believe. But in the end, he decided he would contact his father. When the two spoke, he felt his father was very approachable. After that conversation, he drove home, tears streaming down his face, soaking his glasses. His heart was full of joy. "I found my dad. I found my dad." Bob then bought his son plane tickets so that he and his wife could fly to Huntsville for a reunion. Bob himself was just as anxious as his son. He was both eager and a little afraid of the meeting. 45 years had passed, and he had never cared for his son a single day, hadn't even known son existed. At times, he cried when he thought about it. He kept asking himself, "How will I react? How will my son react?" But when they reunited, it wasn't awkward at all, as he had feared. The father-son bond was immediately forged through a shared passion for music that seemed to run in their genes. Son arrived at Bob's house in July. Everyone welcomed him warmly. Son was even more moved when he saw how happy his father was to know he existed. His siblings also welcomed son as a family member. Mandy Norclau, one of son's newfound sisters, said, I felt a little sad thinking about how we siblings didn't know each other existed. I was also incredibly nervous before meeting him. But it was wonderful. We got along so well. Meanwhile, his sister Audrey Norr called it an amazing experience. After their first family reunion, Bob and his current wife planned to visit Son's family for Thanksgiving. Then the father and son happily sang a duet of the song Dream to Son's guitar accompaniment. Later, they had the chance to stand on a stage together in Los Angeles, singing the songs they loved. Bob shared happily, "I'm grateful that my son found his father, and grateful that I have another child. I always dreamed my kids would share my love for music with me. Now I'm so happy because one of them has." Son proudly said, "I hear my voice in my father's singing."